There are times when you might be asked to do a chemistry read. Do you know what that really means? How do you prepare for it? What can you actually do to make this next step in the audition process work to your advantage? In today's episode of Casting Actors Cast, I will spell it out for you so that the next time you are asked to participate in a chemistry read, you will know exactly how to act with your acting while acting with another actor. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Casting Actors Cast. I'm casting director Jeffrey Dreisbach, welcoming you to yet another episode of the Podio, the podcast video. It's great that you're here today. Listen, if you haven't been to the website, castingactorscast.com, I invite you to do so. It's really a cool place where you can see some past episodes. Plus, if you fill out that form called Dive into the Talent Pool, that's going to open up a menu where you can download for free a 100-page book on voiceover work called Conversation Pieces Out of the Studio, the voiceover workshop for professional actors. It's a 100-page PDF that you can download immediately just by filling out that form. Also, in the same place, when you fill out the form, they're going to have a couple of other options available to you. One is to watch a free 20-minute video called Casting Director Secrets. It's going to be a good day. What they don't want you to know, but I'm going to tell you. So that's a 20-minute video. Again, that's absolutely free of charge. And finally, there's an area called Jeff's Jots, and that's a place where you can get show notes of current and past episodes of Casting Actors Cast. Think of it like sort of an outline or a cheat sheet, so that as you listen to these podcasts, you can get additional information in your hands so that you can follow along. I think you're going to find that really, really helpful. Also, this is that moment where I get to put my shout out to my really cool friends at Actors Connection. If you haven't checked out actorsconnection.com/New York, what are you waiting for? It's a really great place where they're doing all kinds of online teaching, seminars, workshops with casting directors, agents, professionals in the business, covering everything from TV pilot audition casting to voiceover work. And it's a really great place for you to not only check out, but you're going to find all kinds of really cool, interesting classes to just keep you brushed up on your skill sets as an actor. actorsconnection.com/New York. So let's get on with the episode, shall we? Let's talk a little bit about the subject, what I call chemistry read. Chemistry read. What is the definition? A chemistry read. Well, let me just define it first before we go into exactly how you can deal with a chemistry read to make it sound as awesome and feel as awesome as possible. First, a chemistry read definition. It's really simple. It's being paired with another actor to see if they are a good match. So when we put two actors together, that's a chemistry read. Now, you might be wondering, well, what are we actually looking for in a chemistry read? Well, kind of makes sense, but let me spell it out really clearly so you understand how important a chemistry read can be. First of all, we want to make sure that the two actors we're pairing up in a chemistry read, that they look good together in a physical way. So physical appearance is a part of the chemistry read. Now, really, there's not much you can do about the way you look. You are who you are. But now we get a chance to see those two actors together in the same place to see if there is a compatibility in the way that you look. So, again, there's nothing you can do about that, but that's one of the things that we are looking for during a chemistry read. The second thing are acting choices. Are you making similar kinds of choices in your style and in your technique as an actor? And if that's the case, then it makes sense that the two of you are kind of in simpatico, right? That you're both getting along, that you're both sort of understanding and working in a similar way. So acting choices in a chemistry read becomes another element that we are looking for. And then the third thing that we're looking for in a chemistry read is kind of harder to define, I think. It's that special something that makes the relationship between the two actors interesting, compelling, fascinating. Do we get that sort of really kind of that warm and fuzzy feeling, for example, in those two actors that are acting in a love scene together? Is there some kind of chemistry, some kind of connection that is being made between these two actors? Now, you've seen that, I'm sure. You've been watching television or going to a film, and you say, gosh, those two actors seem so great together. That's what I'm talking about. It's that special something that makes the relationship of these actors really interesting, really compelling. So that defines exactly what we're looking for in a chemistry read. But you know what? So when you're working with another actor in a chemistry read, how do you handle that? Sometimes I see that the need for an immediate connection from one actor actually takes away from the work. That means that the actor knows that a chemistry read is extremely important. And so you've got to do, what you can do in order to make this, work, because it's a job, it's a booking, it's playing a part. But sometimes that need for immediate connection really takes away from the two actors just making really good points with each other, really good moments with each other. The other thing is that sometimes in a chemistry read, there's an unwilling participant. In other words, that actor that you might be working with has a slightly different point of view, and that might seriously be difficult to reconcile for yourself. And so an unwilling participant is something to be on the lookout for. And I'm going to have some additional points about that in just a minute. The third thing is this is kind of hard to explain, but in a chemistry read, sometimes your inner voice becomes a third participant. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes what we tell ourselves while we're auditioning, or when we're making a first impression, or whether we're receiving a good first impression, we're giving ourselves all kinds of inner dialogue about that situation. And sometimes actors pay a lot of attention to what their inner voice is telling them about the situation. The better choice is to try and turn that down, that voice in your head that's judgmental, and just simply try to make the moments work. Which brings us to our next kind of topic about chemistry reads is, how do you make a chemistry read work? This is sort of the meat of the matter. This is like the most important thing for you to kind of handle and deal with and figure out. The first thing that you can do to make a chemistry read work is to remove expectations and outcomes. If you're trying to decide how you want the scene to go, if you're trying to decide how you really want the scene to end, you are setting yourself up for an expectation that is probably not going to come true, and therefore is really disappointing, is really, really upsetting. So remove those expectations. Just decide that you're going to go in and have fun with this, that you're going to try and make this a nice little tennis match with each other, and that can really get you in a good headspace for delivering an excellent audition. The second thing that you can do is find empathy in the other character that you're working with. Now, this is a really good tip, I think. Too many times actors are so self-conscious. They're aware of how they are coming across because they're listening to their inner voice. They're also sort of presenting the way they're going to play the character as opposed to fully investing in the character that you're playing. But here's the additional tip I want you to take away from today's episode. Find empathy with the other character. In other words, your character is asking yourself, what makes that person tick? Why are they acting this way? Why are they responding this way? In other words, if you can find something in that other character that you can identify with, that you can have an experience with, putting that energy into the other character is going to reflect extraordinarily well on you and therefore your chemistry with the other actor. Here's another tip. Connect with something about the other actor, whether it's their looks or their personality, that if you can see the positive or you can see how that other actor got to be in that position, how did they get the call back? There might be value in just investing in something about the other actor. Here's another tip. Be receptive to the other actor's choices without feeling compromised. A lot of times we come in with an idea about how we think the part should be played, and then maybe that other actor is playing it kind of out there or completely different than your idea of the scene. So how do you handle that? What do you do if it feels like this is not working for yourself? How do you make an adjustment that still shows that you are giving a good chemistry read, even though it's contrary to what you think it should be? So I guess what I'm saying is, what does it feel like if it isn't working? What can you do? Make your choices work without the influence of the other actor. Not ignore the other actor, but take back the energy, take back the moment that your character is experiencing. Being in the moment with whatever your character is experiencing is really a great way to establish focus and concentration, and therefore you will absolutely be in control at that moment. It's also important to remember that it's really okay for you to become passive or active in the scene, depending upon the character. Now, sometimes in the scene, you're the protagonist. You're the one that's driving the scene. And that means that you probably are going to be able to establish your choices a little more strongly, if that's the right way to say that, than if you were playing a passive character. A passive character maybe is following the lead of the protagonist in the scene. And so you can feel okay about perhaps pulling back on your strong choices and working with that other actor in that situation. So there's no one answer in terms of how you're going to play that part. By simply listening and understanding the scene to the point that you do, you can come up with some really amazing, strong choices on your own. And so you can decide to work inside what that actor is giving you, or you can decide that your strong choices are the way to drive the scene. Also, I want to just put this out there. Always keep your sense of humor. Remember that although we put ourselves under all kinds of undue pressure in this kind of a situation with these chemistry reads, just remember that the other actor is probably feeling pretty much the same thing. And so that there is a mutual willingness to want to make that scene interesting, compelling, make that come alive, to show how well you can work and play well with others, all of that stuff. But if you lose your sense of humor about it, then I'm afraid you're going to go away with a disheartened attitude about the whole thing. And that would just break my heart because, it's an audition. I always say this, it's a moment in time. And that other actor probably wants it to work as well, too. So you both have a very, I think, important investment in each other. And there's value in demonstrating that, but also keeping your sense of humor. It's really okay for you just to laugh off if something doesn't quite work. It's really okay to be human if something doesn't quite work and there's a little frustration there about, do you know what? That didn't quite feel the way that I was thinking. So, be human about it. Be natural about it. Be in the moment, and you're going to find that a chemistry read is a really, really fun thing that you can participate in. Too many times I see actors in a sense of desperation. You know, they really like the role. They really want to do the job. They really want this part. But there's this additional kind of pressure to succeed. And that excess energy, sometimes it manifests itself because of adrenaline. Sometimes it manifests itself because of that desperation. And I can promise you this, desperation never got anybody a job. So try your best to let go of that. By the way, this is a learned thing. This is not a reflection on your talent by any means. It really is just showing that you can be compatible when needed, but you can also be strong and make good, clean, interesting, in-the-moment choices for yourself during that chemistry read. Now that we've covered all of the things about chemistry reads, I just want to share this with you. Sometimes you might be asked to read with 2 or 3 other actors. Isn't that interesting? That might mean that they really like you, and now they're trying to pair your choices, your character choices, with other actors to see how that works. And so you literally have the cards in your hand. I suggest that you do your best to be fair and open and approach each actor that you are working with in that scenario as fairly as you possibly can. Now, you might have your own personal prejudices one way or the other. Maybe you like this actor. Maybe it's an actor you've known, or maybe you're going to be working that you haven't worked with in a while, but yet you're seeing them and gosh, you haven't seen them since college. And suddenly there's this additional energy or this additional moment. Just roll with it. Just be absolutely truthful with each of those experiences. And again, having fun with it. Keeping that sense of humor and deciding that this is just really kind of a cool new way for us to evaluate you for a role. It is not necessarily meant to put you in any undue pressure, please. So embracing the moment and embracing that reality, especially if you're auditioning with 3 or 4 other characters or other actors for that role, it can be a heady thing, but keep your wits about you and stay focused. And I think you're going to find that to be something that's really, really helpful to you. It's important to remember, I think, that the chemistry read, like I said, is really only a moment in time. And it's important to be careful not to hold judgment against another actor. Does that make sense? Ask yourself if you have done everything you can to make moments happen in the scene. Bottom line is professionalism is the key, and a sense of humor is an added bonus. I suggest that you take the work you put into the scene seriously, then do your best to let go of any projected outcome. Finally, embrace the spontaneity that is unique to this type of audition. And this unique type of audition can provide you with the best kinds of experiences in an audition that you'll ever have. And then, of course, it's best to just let go of the results. You can't project what's going to happen. You can only be in the moment and experience what is happening. The journey is so much more fun when you can enjoy the creative ride rather than feel like you need to be there and control it. I hope that this has been helpful for you. Thanks for tuning in to Casting Actors Cast. I'll see you next time. I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach.
Casting Actors Cast is made possible with your support just by listening. Please like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.